What's the word, good people? Back at another week in the books, man. Book 2, chapter 30. My name is Rich. I'm here with the legend, Spike Lou. Spike Lou, how you feeling, good brother?
Rich, I'm feeling good, feeling great, excited about the guest we got today. One of my favorite episodes featured this guy. So I'm ready
Absolutely.
to get back into it. What about you? How you
hmm
feeling today?
I'm doing all right, man. Same. Excited to talk to school, man. With Isaiah, we got it. We no need to delay the intro. The good brother Isaiah is back with us. If y'all remember the instant classic episode from chapter 2,
Yeah,
and book 2, man. Isaiah opened up about
yeah.
his addiction to drugs, and that was, I believe, I wrote it down. I can't remember. I think he might have been 121 days at that point.
hmm Something around there.
Isaiah's nickname School, so it's gonna be, if y'all hear me slip in and out of school, whoa, I'm using the name School, should I say? Please forgive me.
Easy.
That's why. I know. Take it easy. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think. I wrote it down, and now I'm sorry I can't find it. Yeah, 121 days sober last time.
All right.
121 days sober.
Yes,
So that's what
sir.
we're looking at. But Isaiah, man, it's good to have you back.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, we're
Glad
gonna
to be
talk
back.
about we're gonna talk about what's been going on since chapter 2.
Yeah.
Before we get there, Spike Lou got some
What
more
it
feedback,
do?
man. Got some more
Okay.
feedback. First and foremost, before we even get into that, man, just shout out to all y'all, all the bookworms out there. Thanks for listening, subscribing, liking, sharing, everything else that comes with it. We definitely can't do this without you. We appreciate you. Thank you for all of your feedback. Um, I know we had the week off, so I wanted to make sure we told y'all. Thank y'all for allowing us that time, because it is important to make sure we get um, get some time to recharge, especially with all the stuff that Spike Lee and myself do. So that's always going to be appreciated. Um, we actually got a comment from Public Enemy B. Got a couple comments actually. Public Enemy B, our guy, he's always looking out. He commented on our last episode, chapter 29. Important convo. The self-evaluation after receiving and internalizing feedback is important. Something that we all have to do. Kudos for taking that feedback and applying it. The clips are a great start. Then Ash Johnson 32. Shout out to Ash, man. I don't want to just say Mo's sister, but Mo's sister. You more than that, Ash. But she
Mhm.
commented and said, "Great episode, fellas." So always
Thank you,
appreciate
Ash.
the feedback on that, man. Especially being open, and I don't know, man. Feedback is necessary. Sometimes it's not the easiest to receive, but that didn't feel like it was difficult. It felt like it was all genuine from a bunch of people who just said, "Hey, man, we want to see y'all reach our heights. Here are ways to do it." Um, I say all that to say, Spike. We talked a little bit about it before we started recording. Got some feedback on the cold opens, and you seem to agree with it a little bit. The feedback pretty much was, "Hey, if we know you, we gonna rock with you off the strength of you." But sometimes, if I were to listen, if the example was, if I didn't know who you were and I stumbled upon
hmm
this podcast and I press play, I might be out before y'all actually get me to the main part of the pod and what I'm here for. And shout out to Nate. Nate's one of my people. Isaiah knows exactly who he is, man. Incredibly talented artist. He
Yes.
was like, man, y'all have so much information. He even mentioned some of the episodes we've done, like the grief episode. He's like, man, sometimes it's too much. Like, y'all are so authentic and so real, man. Like, it's so appreciated. But a lot of people need to get into that early. Like, take away some of the fluff and get into it. What was your feedback that you told me on that, Spike?
I think that the cold opens are important, which is a version of what we do and what he's speaking to. And here's the reason why. He's right. Some people will be out of there because they don't want to hear that and want to get to what we write in the description. I get that. But I think that's really not the type of person that's going to listen to this show anyway. Because while we have topics, this isn't a topic based show. Like,
Right.
it's about people having conversations. So what the cold open does, and again, thank your friend for the feedback. I'm not like
No, no, no.
coming
It's,
back,
yeah.
but yeah, But what the cold open does, it lets you know who you're listening to. Before we get into talking about grief or get into talking about addiction or whatever the episode is titled, you need to know my perspective, at least I feel like, on a couple other things. Like you need to know, like, who is this talking? Like what they talking? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like our episodes, I think, don't pertain as much to the title as they do conversations. So feedback received, definitely understand what he's saying. And probably what we could do a better job at is breaking it up. For the people that may like this podcast but don't like that, just we'll put it in the show notes where you can start at, and then we'll put some music in front of it, or put a theme song in front of it, or a drop or whatever it may be in front of it, and then that'll fix that. But I do really think that from what I explained with cold opens as to why they're important in podcasting. But again, thank you for the feedback. And y'all let us know what y'all think. Y'all give us more feedback. Do y'all can agree with that? Was the fix understandable? I mean, was the fix to the solution? Was that a solution to the problem? What I suggested as a fix? But we do continue to appreciate the feedback. And I was thinking about this on the way home too, because we've been doing a lot of feedback. I definitely want to make sure that the people that feel comfortable, more comfortable giving feedback now because they listen to us or realize it was something they should be doing, make sure that you call and compliment these people that you're giving maybe negative feedback to as well. You got to balance it out. More and I talked about it in chapter 1 when you talk about making deposits. You can't just go to the bank and pull out money if you ain't putting nothing in there. So if like now you giving feedback and all the feedback is negative, you got to be careful in doing that. You also have to be like, sometimes just call it, hey man, you know, you're doing a great fucking job at this. I'm not asking nobody to do that to me. I'm just making the observation because I thought about it today on the way to do the show. So make sure that we haven't really mentioned that a lot. So I wanted to make sure I brought that up.
It's funny you say that, and obviously shout out to you for everything you just said. It's funny you said that though, because I did that without knowing on Sunday with you. I sent a message. You had posted something. You posted at the golf. It was Saturday, Sunday. You were golfing. It was Saturday. Because I was about to go see.
That was Monday. That was Monday. No, that was Monday.
Was it Monday? I know it was a weekend. I know we had a long weekend.
Yeah, that was Monday. It was Monday.
Yeah, you're right. Because I went to go see that Final Destination on Monday. Yeah. And you posted yourself at the golf course, and I sent you a message like, "What's up, Spike Lou? Where you at? Like, come on, man. I ain't seen no reels or nothing." And y'all know Spike, man. Spike gonna do things on his time. I'm the same way. I get it. That's why it's funny. He said, I'm working on something. Well, here's what Spike does. That's always cracks me up because so fucking alike. Spike will read your message. He'll leave you on scene. Leave you on scene for about a good hour or two. You know what I mean? And you gotta just know him to know, because I'm the same type of nigga. So I don't never say nothing back. I ain't never gonna hit him with the damn. You ain't gonna read. Nope. I already know what it is. Sometimes he does it to be an ass. If I send him some nonsense, if I send him some bullshit, he'll just leave me on scene and not even address it. But if it's something like that, he'll leave you on scene for a couple hours and then he'll reach back out and say, I'm about to work on it when I get home. And sure enough, he had a post, which I thought was dope, which I might actually like bite a little bit. Pause. I might actually have to steal it a tad bit just because I thought it was well done, and it's a good, clean way for somebody who doesn't want to be. And shout out to all the content creators out there, man. Like the work that it takes to do what y'all do, I think is, shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to look at my page and see a bunch of content. You get what I'm saying? My personal page. I don't want to look down at every single thing as a reel or some kind of information. I still want to be me. And we talked about this before. How can we be ourselves and still do that? And I think that was the perfect way. And there's things that I'm working on the movie side of things, because I go to the movies so much. Maybe doing a weekly rundown of the things I've seen, a monthly rundown of the things I'm excited about for the month, while adding in and something that you did, Spike, that I thought I need to do anyway. I post things like on my story. People know I podcast, but I don't know how many people, if you don't know me, know exactly what I podcast about and what I do.
Right. Same with me.
You might see the titles and the episodes, but if you don't know about Another Week in the Books, a post isn't really going to properly explain what that is and the importance of the conversation that's being had. And I'm like, damn, I need to go ahead and get that going. So, it's the feedback is always welcome, but I say all that to say, I called Spike Lee and I told him verbatim, "Hey, good shit." I said, if I'm gonna be the nigga that sends you a message saying where you at, I gotta be the nigga that hits you up and say, "Hey man, good shit. I fuck with you.
You did.
I'm proud of you, Spike." And that's the conversation we had.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. And to that point, the people that was telling me to post, all of them comment, like all the people, it didn't go unnoticed from the people who had been pressuring me to do it, like what you said. Or like Dro, as he was talking, like I know that they made sure that they acknowledged it too, and I really appreciate that from all those people that was asking for it. That they just scroll by it, they actually engaged with it too. It actually encourages me to do it more, like you said. So I do appreciate that. So shout out to y'all.
No doubt, man. But
well, my best thing of the week this week. Did you have some? That was it.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So thing I'm most proud of this week, man, I was back in Cincinnati, school. Isaiah and myself, our cousin, our youngest first cousin, the youngest first cousin graduated high school. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn. Nice. When I graduated high school, she wasn't even born. She's still a year away from being born. So it was wild seeing her graduate. It was good to be back home, kicking with the cousins. And I did something that I don't normally do, which was hang out with a couple of my cousins just on some kicking shit. We obviously grew up all really close. I think we even talked about it on the first episode when school was on. Yeah. Your cousin's your first friend. Mm-hmm. And 85, our grandparents' house, man, we got like two sets of cousins, like the older group, and then there's a small gap, and then there's the younger group. And I'm like the oldest, or right at the oldest of the younger group, outside of I'm trying to think of the gap. Yeah, either way, might be a 3 or 4 year gap between those two groups, and we all grew up at the crib. Like we all like that's like meeting point, holidays, everything. Yep. So you spend a lot of time with these people, and then you get older and start getting your own life, and you kind of on your move. And if you're not intentional, just like everything else in life, if you're not intentional about it, you was just messing around to see him at the Thanksgiving, holiday here and there, and that's it. Don't really know what's going on. Your cousins start having kids. Mm-hmm. You trying to figure out whose kid is this, like which kid is that, what's their name, and you think like, damn, man, this is my people, this is my family. So I want to make sure that I'm present and start doing things more. So I got to kick it with two of the cousins, man. And I texted school the next day, like, yo, cousins is wild, bro. It was a good time. Like we was out, we actually went out, we started at the crib and then ended up going out, kicking it. It was a fun time, man. So I was proud that I was able to. Normally, I just see what the normal scene is, see who back in the crib, trying to kick it. I'm like, nah, let me kick with the fam. It's a fam weekend. Let's see what's popping.
Yeah, I was outside this weekend too. But it's always when I go home, that's who I kick it with, my cousin. We go out and eat. Like that's the person I'm gonna be around the most. It was my dog Scoop's birthday, man. Happy birthday to Scoops. If he's listening.
Birthday, Scoops.
Yeah, man. He had me outside, man. I ain't been outside like that in a minute. So
hey, man,
had me in Magic City and shit. So
shit.
You're right.
You was
exactly.
outside for real.
Outside for real.
You get some
but
of the wings.
It was a cool time.
Some of them lemon pepper loos.
No, I didn't get to, man. I'll tell you. I can't. I don't want to tell why on air, but we wasn't in there long. We wasn't in there long, man.
Fair enough.
We wasn't in there for long at all. But also too, to what you were saying when you first started talking about how I left you on red, David, an author in book 2,
David.
He was listening to the show about the taking receiving feedback, and he wanted to talk to me about it. So he texted me Friday. When he listened, I think I said, and he was like, "Hit me up. I got some stuff on the show I want to, rap with you about." That I listened to it, and I texted him back, Rich, but I completely forgot, and it was Sunday before I called him back, and he said, "I apologize." When I got him on the phone, he said, "I don't worry, you're just doing Spike Lee shit." It was too what you said. He said, "I listened to the show. I know."
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. It made me think of that when you was talking about it.
Hey, man, you got to know who you're dealing with. I say it all the time. You got to know you're dealing with it. It will preserve your feelings.
It's never nefarious with me, though. I don't mean to do it. Well, sometimes I do, like if it's Memphis Bleak or something, but Most of the time,
like,
I don't.
I know the time. It's very obvious the times. Listen. I know when I'm sending you bullshit. Same with school. I know when I'm sending school some bullshit. School send me some shit, man, like back to back, and I won't even address it. I'll just hit them up the next day like nothing happened. Like, what's good, man?
That's
You all
funny.
right?
Like nothing happened.
Like nothing happened, man. Like stop
That's
sending me.
funny.
Stay off the internet, bro. But
one
with that being
one
said,
thing before we get into it, did y'all see the little viral clip going around of the niggas calling to tell their homeboys good night?
Oh man,
yeah, I sent it to
It's funny that I seen a couple Caucasian people was doing that shit. That shit had to be.
Oh, they did it. How did they respond?
It's funny. It's funny because 2 out of the dude called 3 of his homies. 2 out of the 3 was just with it. Like, oh, all right, man. Good night. Love you too, man.
Man, send me that, man. I gotta see that because that was one of the. I was wondering that too.
Yeah,
I was like, white dudes probably gonna respond different.
Yep.
We as black men.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. I totally get it.
Yep.
Because I will react the same way. Like, nigga, don't call and tell me good night. Nigga, fuck wrong with nigga, fuck you talking about some good night. But it's fucked up though that we like that though. We gotta admit that's fucked up, man. But I totally understand it too. Like, it's similar to like I was talking one time talking to my barber, and the nigga was like, he was at a motorcycle little thing. He had a little motorcycle friends or some shit like that. And the nigga was like, something was going on with Uber. They was certain. I was like, you wouldn't let this nigga take you on the motorcycle. It's like, nigga, I will walk.
Nah, that's real. I ain't about to be hooked up on the motorcycle. I don't know what that says about me.
Even if you need a ride, though, that's what's crazy. Like we crazy, man. But I thought that good night stuff was really interesting because I was conflicted in the sense of I totally understand and probably will react the same way, if not just hang up in your face. But it's fucked up that we like that too.
It's funny because you just saying that Spike Lee reminded me of, I'll never forget this, and I've told Rich this story. I had to be 4 or 5, maybe even 6, and I said to my Uncle Dwight, R.I.P., I called him a boy. I was like, what you talking about, boy? Or something like that. And I remember him legit getting upset with me, like, don't you ever call me a boy in your life? Like, nigga, I'm 6. I'm a boy. Like, I don't even know the depth of that word. And he real live got salty at me. Like, I'll never forget this shit.
That's a really good parallel because it's like what you're saying. That when you older like that, calling somebody, like if somebody call me boy now, like I would be mad too. Like you say, regardless child or not. And that parallel to like getting that phone call, like just randomly, if a nigga just be hitting you like good night, like it ain't, other than getting to the point, it ain't really too much that us is like, if a nigga hit me up and be like, what you doing, bro? Just, and that's the context of what you calling for. Yeah, like I'm salty about that. Like I ain't like what are you like? What's up, nigga? Like, it's crazy.
Nigga, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? The worst is where you at though. Like that's even beyond good night. Motherfucker just call you and the first thing they hit you with is where you at, male, or female. It don't matter. Like my mom's the only one that really can do that, and I don't get irritated by it. And that's still like some kind of way. But phone etiquette, I feel like it's hilarious.
I'll text Rich and be like, I'll be like, can I call you? And that nigga be like, man, just call me. And if I can't answer, I won't answer. I'll be like,
like I hate that. I hate the text saying, hey, can I call? Or call
because that's
like,
hey, you know what though? Because I know you seen the text. So that's different from not answering the phone. I can call you, not answering the phone. It might not be with you. I ain't do this. Like I don't know that. But if I shoot you a text, I know you seen it, nigga.
Yeah, I got a message. It's funny because I got a message about the good night shit. I got a message saying we wouldn't have to worry about you because you ain't never gonna pick up the phone anyway. I'm like, that's so terrible.
What would your response be, Rich? Nigga get you on the phone and call and tell you good night.
Well, the first video I saw about all of these, it had one common theme, and it would have been the same thing I would have been on. It's the pause in between. It's like it's not the instant crash out. It's the pause, like where you can literally hear silence of a nigga trying to figure out what you going on.
Yeah.
Like, what you on right now? I would have been on that. Like, you good? Like I literally would have been like, what you telling me for? You called me to tell me good night? Like, I would have been asking like.
That was the third when the Caucasian dude, his third friend, hit him with it. Like, is everything all right, bro? Like, you good? Like, that shit had me crying because I
wanna
think that
see
would be
what
my
happens.
reaction. Like I'm a pause, but at some point I might just be like, bro, is everything all right? Like, is this a cold? You trying to tell me something? Like, you know, because I would hate for some shit to really happen,
Facts.
and you know,
you just
feeling
like
guilty.
whatever.
And then they say, "Nah, I just want to call you and tell you tonight."
Then I'm hanging
like,
up.
don't take me off the list. Like like just know that I love you. Know that I love you. And I wish the best for you.
Hey, text me
But
next
you ain't got
time,
to
bro.
call.
You
You
can
ain't got to
just
call
text
me
me
and
if you
tell me
feel like you
tonight.
got to do that. Just text me that. But that's an interesting thing about men friendships. That's the gift and the curse of it. Because a woman can receive that call and it will make her day. Oh, thank you so much. And they go talk about a million other things, maybe on the phone for an hour. But like that's just not how male friendships are, bro. Like it don't
Our
work.
first response is, "The fuck you calling? What
Like
the fuck you
nigga,
telling
what
me
are
this
you
for?"
on? Yeah,
Yeah,
Which
what
I
you
is
don't know
want?
something
if
to digest at some point.
I don't know if the
Like
text
I was out.
text might
Like
be
when I
working.
was saying, right. When I was telling you I was out with AB, we went to go get some food after. And me and AB, we do the show every week. But just to show you like we were talking about a certain thing that happened to me maybe a couple of years ago, but he had no idea. Because those what I'm talking about that happened just ain't the conversations like what we were saying that men usually have. Like they're like, oh damn, I didn't know that such and such happened with you and such. And I talk to this nigga every week. And I was like, damn, I thought I told you that, but I hadn't. So
How'd that make you feel?
it made sense for him. It made sense like for like AB and I are that's one of my good friends, but we don't talk. You know what I'm saying? Like him, like going out and playing golf with him. We spent like 3-4 hours together on Monday. And we didn't talk a lot there, like because we paired with two other people. A lawyer kept asking, he kept asking us about podcasting because like it's different now from when you tell somebody you do a podcast from when you used to tell him back in the day. He had so many questions because he listened to podcasts and how do y'all do this and how do y'all make money? What do y'all talk about? He was a lawyer from such and such. How did y'all get started? Somebody give you guys money to get started? Do you get ads? He had a million questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made me feel in the sense like it was expected. Like that's a normal thing for AB and I's relationship. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Yeah.
We have more things as far as the new. We talked about a new format. Spike and myself have started. That will have kind of a more consistent theme to the episodes. We're gonna get into it, if not next week, then the week after, because I know next week is the first Friday, and we usually like to let Portia, discuss what she wants to. But as far as our formats go, want to hold off a little bit because we think the conversation today is going to be important enough to get right into it. We teased it enough. Chapter 2 was one of the most personal. It was the most personal piece of podcasting that I've done. Just sitting there, I listened to it again today, parts of it. And hearing Isaiah's story just from being his family member, being his brother, and understanding what kind of openness and vulnerability that took. And as I mentioned, I was 121 days sober. And you really kind of have to know the starts and stops that it took before we got to this point.
Yeah.
To really appreciate it. And obviously you can without it. But for me personally, it just means that much more because I remember the first time being, he told me about his addiction. And as I get to reflect and I look on it, I'm like, oh, he wasn't ready. Because he told me, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mallory kind of told you to tell me. Like, if you don't say something to him, if I'm
Who's Mallory?
his wife.
That's my wife.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it wasn't like you have to tell Kyron because if you tell him, then it'll be real. Just because of that relationship. Like I'm not gonna let school slack. Versus like you disappeared when it actually happened. Like you didn't tell me anything. It was just one of those. I looked up, he was cool, and then the next day he was gone. He was in rehab. And you haven't looked back since. So excited to have you back here because you have been consistent with it, you have stuck with it. And we just want to kind of talk to you about what it's looked like since the last time you've been here and how you're feeling first and foremost and the whole nine. So welcome back. How do you feel, man? How do you feel? And I know you're over a year. It was May 7th.
May 7th.
Celebrated 1 year.
Year.
We're
Yes,
recording
sir.
on May 29th. This is released on May 30th.
Yes.
So congratulations to you, brother. How you feel?
Thank you. Man, I feel great, man. As I sit here, you said 121 days. That just seems like forever ago. You know, now I'm at 337, I believe, something of that nature. Maybe it's a little longer than that, but it equals to about a year and 22 days.
Right. Yeah, probably a
So,
little bit longer. It's 365 is a year, so
yeah. So it's 377, maybe. I don't know. I got a little timer and all that crap I'll be looking at. But man, I feel great. I really have no complaints. Um, you know, it's just really about work, man, and a lot of it is exactly what you guys were talking about. You know, taking that feedback, being vulnerable, you know, speaking your truth, you know, living it, you know, knowing that you made mistakes and you got to live with that and face that. You know, ain't no. I faced a lot this past year. You know what I mean, and a lot of it is of my own doing. You know, I didn't face too many new problems, but a lot of it was old problems, you know, that I might have skipped out on or I tried to, you know, look past. But I faced a lot of fears this year for sure.
what does that mean? If you're okay going into that, when you say you face some fears, what do those fears look like? And
One of those definitely, I believe, one of those fears was finding out who I was. You know,
mhm,
again, I'll be 36 in what, less than a month, some days
I'll
from
say,
now.
yeah, like less
And
than 2 weeks, pretty much.
yeah, and you know, I don't know. This is the longest I've ever been sober since 15, 16. So learning myself, learning, you know, who I am, you know, even with my marriage, like her learning me, learning who I am. Like this is all it's kind of like a rebirth, a new journey. That's what they say. It's a rebirth. And that's definitely the truth. Because I'm learning a lot about myself, you know, especially willpower for sure.
Mm. What is it when you say willpower? What is it exactly in that sense?
Just do I really have that strength? Which ultimately I believe, I mean, a year and some almost 13 months proves that I do. Um, but I really owe it all to these programs that are available that are free. You know, they're the 12-step programs, things of that nature, because you know they give you someone to lean on. They give you a sponsor, people that understand everything you're going through. Like you're not special. There's nothing, you know, there's nothing that I've, you know, when I first started out, there was things that I was afraid to say, and oh, they're gonna look at me different if I say that I did this or I did that. And a motherfucker look at me and be like, bruh, what? That ain't shit. I'll tell you, let me tell you this. And you look at them like, oh shit. So um just giving me that, you know, that I guess that battery in my back to get through this. Like, bro, you got this, you know, and one day at a time, like I said last time. I know that shit is cliche, but it's super true. You know, if you gotta, there's been moments where I had to take, you know, fall back and turn it into, you know, 10 minutes. You know, I just got to make it through the next 10 minutes, sit down, pray, you know, all types of just things that I've learned on this journey, especially the deeper I go into it, the more people I meet, you know.
I had a question for you. Just know,
Absolutely.
like, so when you have vices like what you
Mhm.
had, that's a large part of what, like, your day. Like you said, you had to redefine yourself, find yourself.
Yeah.
Again, one of people's one of the hardest problems for people when they trying to stop doing something is
Mhm.
they got to find something to replace the time with.
Yeah.
Like if I used to take them cigarette breaks and I'm trying to quit cigarettes, now I got to find something
Mhm.
else to do for about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If I smoke and I run a blunt, like now I'm trying to find things to keep me occupied, to keep me away from doing that.
Yeah.
What was that thing for you that replaced being high, or you know what I'm saying, just whatever it may be as far as the effect that it had? Like what replaced that for you? Like did you start eating more? Did you start watching TV? Did you pick up a sport? Like what was it?
Hey,
Definitely.
hold on, real. I'm about to say real quick. Go look at the video on chapter 2 and then look at it now. My nigga, the
I
game's
see you picked up the weight. I see you picked up the weight, man. A healthy weight though.
Listen, I done picked up a good 60. But that definitely eating. And a lot of it is again, once I entered the rehab program, they kept me busy. They kept me in classes 5 days a week, 4 days a week. The hardest part of it was when I went down to 1 day a week, because then that's when I really had to figure out my own grind. Like, how am I going to do this? Because no one's holding my hand anymore. So do you really want this? Do you really want to stay on top of this? And that's when I, started going to NA meetings, Celebrate Recovery meetings. I started volunteering more, giving up more of my free time. Like, I didn't really leave myself much time to BS around, and a lot of things that I thought were negative things in my life. For example, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I'm blind, legally blind. I can't drive anymore. That's all stuff that I mourned that. I was upset about that. And now I look at that as such a blessing, because in the sense of, and I don't never want to go backwards, but I'm trying to say that, like, if I was to want to, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like, I can't call Rich and be like, bro, you take me around the corner. Like, I can't ask my wife to take me up the street. You know what I mean? Like, it's just too much.
What do you wear, glasses or something? Like, what do you mean you legally blind?
So yes, I the glasses don't help. But yes,
really?
that's how I found out that I had multiple sclerosis. And Richard tell you, bro, for like, I think this is what, 2013, 2014.
I'm about to say about 2012 or so, because I remember you were over there on Cary. You were on Cary, if I'm not mistaken. And I was around the corner. And I remember one day you just randomly hit me with it. Yeah, he ran like, man, bro, something wrong with my eye out of nowhere. Like, just nothing.
I was looking like Benny, bro. My shit was everywhere, bro.
So now, like, how do you like function on a day-to-day basis? Like, glasses don't help. Contacts, something like.
No. So
that's why you can't drive.
Yes, that's why I can't drive. So, I mean, I function the best I can. Like, I got my wife got me some, like, what do they call it? Like a magnifying glass to read. And like, if we go out to eat, I can carry this magnifying glass. Like, there's certain things I can do. I got a bigger phone to help with the screens. But I mean, there's really nothing that they can do. Like, there is a chapter of disability for the blind in Ohio. They've offered me a couple things. But from what I understand, it's not the best, so it's just another chapter that I can look, dig more into and figure out. But
so when you out walking around, you can see people, it's just blurry.
Yes, they're blurry. So, like, it's funny how the brain works too, like, because if I meet a new person, I don't know what they look like, but my brain remembers. Like, if I see Rich, like, I pretty much know what he looks like. So my
knew
brain
him before it happened.
Yeah. So my brain can make him out. My daughters, like, all that. Like,
and when did it happen? How old were you?
Shit, 20. Was it 20?
When did you meet your wife?
23, 24. I met my wife in 2015. So listen,
you already knew what she looked like.
So what happened was, now this happened in 2013, and my eye went back to normal. Like, and being young, I was like, fuck it. Like, I had insurance and everything. I just was like, shit, I'm back. Shit, fuck it. Like, I'm good. And then in September of 23, it was May of 23, it happened again with my other eye. Like, and I was like, hold up. Now I'm 30, I'm 35. I got to figure out what's up. And that's when we found out. They started asking questions and they explained everything. Like, yeah, this might be multiple sclerosis. So they took me to see a neurologist. We did an MRI and she found some stuff. So,
the blindness is an effect of multiple sclerosis.
Yes, because it's a nerve disease. Like,
Right.
so the way that my doctor explained it to me was like he took an extension cord and just was like, in an extension cord there are wires, but the outside of it is covered, like the protective gear. That's how your veins and your
Right.
what am I looking for here?
Arteries, veins, all
Yes,
the stuff
all
on the
that. That's
inside.
how
Yeah.
that works. My immune system attacks all of those parts in me for some reason, thinking that it's a foreign object, thinking that it's like it's an illness, like it's supposed to fight it. Like instead of fighting, like it would a cold,
Regular. Yeah.
it fights its own self pretty much. And they don't know why. MS is something they still don't know.
Is that what Michael J. Fox got?
No, he has Parkinson's.
Yeah,
Parkinson's.
Richard Pryor had multiple sclerosis. I believe Selma Blair has it. Christina Applegate. It's a few other people.
Okay.
That
I'm getting the
yeah.
picture now.
So
I
yeah, like
remember Richard Pryor in the later years. Okay,
yeah,
I
because
understand. Yeah,
it
because
pretty
he
much
used to wear the glasses and stuff. Okay,
yeah,
all right. I'm picking up what you put down now.
yeah, and it definitely can cripple you. Like again,
Yeah.
I'm blessed in the sense of, my mom is in the nursing field, and she says that there's 28-year-old people in her place that she works at, that can't move, that need help, and so I'm blessed in that sense. My doctor, my neurologist told me that basically when it pretty much attacks your eyes, it kind of stays away from everything else. So I take a medicine for it once a month, and I have no new lesions. I mean, the medicine's been working. So, I'm blessed in that sense as well.
So that was part of that happened in 20. What time? What was it again?
23, September 23.
So to tie it back into originally, the conversation that we had with you, is that one of the reasons that like were you dealing with that?
Yeah,
And
that was
then like the
that was definitely a
addiction
low point.
and popping that helps you. Okay.
So it's funny because thinking about it, I was I was fighting
You
an
was
illness that I didn't.
self-medicating. You was
I was
self-medicating.
self-medicating, and I didn't even know it. Like my
Yeah.
back, like bro, I could stand for like 2 hours max, but once I hit 3-4 hours, my back be messed up, and I thought it was just like the pills or whatever. I'm like, I gotta stay on top of the pills, but then come to find out it's because of the multiple sclerosis. Like my doctor was telling me, like a lot of your lesions are on your back. Like your back is messed up, bro. Like I'm like, damn. So that makes sense. Like I was self-medicating, and again, I was in a car accident in October of 24. Really bad car accident, and God is good, bro. He works in mysterious ways, bro. Like I don't remember anything about that car accident. But the one thing that did happen is when I woke up, I was awoken in the hospital, and the doctor was about to give me fentanyl, bro. And I stopped him. Like I woke up just in time just to tell him, like, no, I'm clean. I'm 5 months clean. No. Like, even that situation. They
I remember.
they
Go ahead,
push
go ahead.
this shit on you.
Yeah, I remember when you told me that because
Yeah.
I remember the accident and everything that went down. And I remember you telling me that, and I was just like, man, that's incredible. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing that happened.
Yep. They gave me
How often would you think about, like, damn, what happened if I waited, if I didn't come to or say something 5 minutes later, I could have had that in my system again. Do you ever stop and think, like, man, what a blessing? And is there anything in the health field that you can do to let doctors know, like, if something were to happen, is there
yes.
something in your file to say, like, hey,
Yes.
I'm a
I have
recovering addict?
I have my chart, which is, I mean, that's the best bet for anyone, is to get a my chart. And most of the doctors deal with my chart anyway. But you can put in your my chart that you're allergic to opioids and all types of stuff like that, and they won't give it to you. I put that in there, so they wound up giving me ibuprofen. I think ibuprofen 800 or something like that. Even I just got my teeth pulled. They gave me ibuprofen. Like, and I told him, because fentanyl was in a part of the mix that took me out, put me under. And I told him, like, I can't have that. And he said it takes a little longer to get where you're going, but it'll get you there. But we won't include the fentanyl. I'm like, cool, you know. But you know, it's just funny. That's they answer. You know, even though they know that shit killing people, they still like, we giving it to you. I get, you know, if it's used correctly, I guess.
It's one of the things that I've been fascinated with, having a, you know, up close and personal seat to your journey.
Yeah.
That ties into it in a much, obviously yours is much more serious, but something we talk about a lot here on Spike and myself is the routine and the discipline of things.
Yeah.
And you're in a life or death situation where you're disciplined, like your life depends on your discipline.
Yeah.
And you talk about the classes and the programs and being able to go there every single day, but slowly but surely, you only got to go one day now. You only got to do this. You only got to do that. And you had to find your own routine.
Yeah.
What were some things that helped you in that process? Was it as simple as, hey, if I don't find a routine soon, this will never get fixed? Or was there things that you did on a daily to say, all right, I'm this person today because I spent every day this past year doing this? If that makes any sense.
Yes. A lot of it was the honest truth was admitting that I needed help. Again, similar to kind of like when I realized I needed help to fight, you know, the addiction. Because, you know, they took me from, again, you know, 4 days a week to just 1 day a week. And I thought it was okay for a little while. And then I wound up graduating in February, but I was still meeting my counselor. And I talked to my counselor, the same young lady you talked when we had our talk.
Yeah.
I talked to her and I just explained to her, I said, yo, one of the worst things about this program, you know, and there's not any, this is probably the worst thing, was that change of, you know, 3 days to 1 day, and it's only an hour. And she agreed and just was like, here's some things that you can do. How does this sound? She gave me a list of some things. And again, which includes, you know, volunteering, going to more classes, going to you know, more NA, more CR meetings, anything that I can do to help. CR is Celebrate Recovery. So it's NA with it's a Christianity NA pretty much.
Okay,
yeah. So, you know, in NA and AA, they believe that you should have a higher power. In CR, the higher power is Jesus Christ, pretty much.
Oh, so they don't push that. I ain't know that. They don't push it being God in AA. It's just
no,
there needs
they
to be
just say a higher power. And they always say, and this is one of those things that I agree with 100%. As long as it ain't you. You know, as long as your higher power is not you, you know, because look at where your ass brought you. Like,
right.
And that's real. So but yeah, that was definitely it, leaning on those people that were there to help me, you know, just tell them what have you seen, what are some things, because most of those people that work in that field are former addicts. Miss Kim was a former addict, so I said, what did your journey look like when you got to this point? What did you do? You know, and she gave me some tips, and that's it. I went from there.
What was the best piece of advice she gave you?
One of the best pieces of advice she gave me is don't go back. You know, she pretty much gave me some strong words of encouragement. You know, seeing you from when you first came in here to now is crazy. It's a blessing. Like, you know, you're a people person. Just everything I needed to hear in that moment, she pretty much said to me. And how proud of me she was. That was real inspirational as well. Because it's funny, sometimes you look at a person, it's kind of like when you start middle school or high school and you look at that one teacher and you're like, man, I can't stand it. And then by the end of that year, that's your dog. Like, damn, I can't believe this shit. Like, that's how me and Miss Kim was. I'm like, I don't know about this lady.
What was it that gave you reservation about it?
I don't want to say on air.
Okay, that's fair.
I definitely can share it with you after though.
Okay, that's fair.
Is she black?
No.
Okay. Yes.
Let me. I got some more stuff, but since we're on it, one thing for a lot of people who will never either struggle with addiction or face addiction, their only introduction to meetings is usually through media, right? What I mean is television, film.
Yep.
Spike and myself just got finished with Sopranos, and there was a prominent character on there who had addiction issues. And in shows like that, you'll see people go through things, and not to be a moral character, but this character is like just not a good human being.
Yeah.
But there are moments that happen, and they immediately say, "Let's go to a meeting. We got to go to a meeting. I got to find a meeting." What do the meetings mean to someone who is going through an addiction and recovering from a recovering addict? Like, how important are those meetings to the point where you see it played out, like I said, on TV, on movies? It's almost like that's their new. Like, I need this in order to stay functional. I need to find a meeting right now. And are meetings that accessible? Is there a meeting 24/7? Like, how does that work for those who don't know?
Absolutely. There's the app now. They have the NA app, the AA app, the CR app. Again, there's
what's AA?
AA is Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay, so AA is alcoholics and NA is narcotics, and then CA is Christian.
Yes, and then they have there's a blank anonymous for pretty much every drug. There's crack anonymous. There's weed anonymous. Everything.
Gambling anonymous.
I'm sure they have
porn anonymous.
Porn, set all that. It's something for everything. But yes, those meetings are extremely accessible. You can do them on Zoom, and it happens a lot. Now, one of the things that happens too is, and it's been happening at the one I attend on Monday, is this guy comes in, he works in Cincinnati. He's from Georgia, but he works in Cincinnati, and he has about 35 years clean. And he'll come to our meeting probably every 3 months. He'll pop in, like, and that's why they want you to be safe when you go out of town. Just like a motherfucker would go to North Carolina for the weekend and try to find some dope. Like, you should feel that same way about your recovery. They say you should work twice as hard, for your recovery. Like, when you think about, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm sorry to cut you off. My bad. I know you were explaining the meetings, but what is it about a meeting for someone who's recovering that like scratches that itch? That's the, like, is it the people telling the stories? Is it just being amongst community? Is it just having something to do? Like, what is it about the meeting that's like, I gotta go do this because I know it's gonna keep me clean?
It's mostly the community. It can be the stories. But I would say for me, it's the community and the stories, because a meeting can be about, it can be us reading from the NA book, a message from the NA book, and then the last 30 minutes of it, you get to talk, about your week, something that's been bothering you this week, or maybe some good things that's happened this week, how you relate to what what we read, anything. Most of it is, a lot of it too is people telling on themselves, getting there and saying, just to come in that place. Think about it this way. If I was to come on here and say to y'all, bro, which would be hard for me to do, but if I was to say, bro, last night I want to get so high, like, it's crazy. But to go in that meeting with someone who understands, and you can say, listen, you 30 motherfuckers, like, I wanted to get super high last night, but I didn't. And this is why, or I'm glad I'm here because I didn't get high. And you say that to them people, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to walk to you, hug you, give you some words of encouragement, especially when you see, or you hear somebody who has 20 plus years, bro. That's such a blessing when you see somebody like that, man. Like, it's crazy.
So So what it sounds like, even beyond the community,
Mhm.
it's a judgment-free zone.
And that's the best thing
So
about it.
like even
Judgment.
with even with your family, like probably your wife, Rich,
Mhm.
like there's still, I can't really come to you because y'all don't really know. I love y'all to death, but y'all don't really understand.
Mhm.
Being amongst people who understand and not gonna
Mhm.
judge you for it. Not saying that Rich or your wife would or anything like that, but
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, I know what
normal
you're saying.
human natures for people to be
Yes.
like, he back on that, he back on whatever again.
Mhm.
But being able, it's like being amongst your homeboys.
Yeah.
Like there are things that we say when we talking in groups that we wouldn't dare say in front of our mamas out in public
Right.
because we know we'll be judged by it. So
Mhm.
with this group, it sounds like that's the thing that pulls you. Like, I know I can go here and talk freely. Nigga,
Yes.
without nobody thinking that I'm tripping, without nobody
Absolutely.
think I'm finna go do some dope or whatever. Like, there
Mhm.
ain't nobody thinking I'm gonna do that. I'm
Right.
just speaking my mind. So that
Mhm.
sounds like okay. That's okay. I get it. I get it.
Yes. Yes. That's it. That you hit the nail on the head, man. That's it, man. Judgment free zone. And they say it, they say that in the very beginning, it's a judgment free zone. Even if you still get high, they want you to come in, leave the drugs in the car. Let's see what we can work out with you. Can we get you off
Yeah.
this shit today? It's a
Okay.
great
So
program.
I'd imagine that's a very self-policing program.
Yes, and
What
that's
I mean by that is,
go ahead.
in a room full of people who are sharing their souls and can understand the issues that they're having
Mhm.
and the struggles that they're having, I'd imagine it'd be hard for somebody to come in and hear something that's so judgmental.
Yeah.
You said it's a non.
Mhm.
So as soon as you said it's a non-judgmental room, and that's the biggest thing, I thought about maybe the worst thing somebody could share with people.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking about somebody who might not be used to that and might snicker or make a comment, and I'd imagine the rest of the room will shut that shit down immediately.
Immediately. But
mm,
the crazy part is I've never been a part of that.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before. And
which is great.
which is amazing. And just like you said, it's funny too, because one of the things that they say, they read their guidelines and their steps and everything in the beginning. One of the things they say is NA, AA, Celebrate Recovery. We are not associated with no religion, well, Celebrate Recovery doesn't, but NA and AA, we don't associate with no religion, no politicians, all that. Like, we are our own entity. Like, if me, you, and Spike decided we wanted to start a NA meeting, all we would have to do is find a spot and collect, get some books and collect what they call it, rent, and pay your rent. Like, that's it, you know. Um,
When you say pay your rent, you mean like to the actual building, or is that a
yes,
term?
to the
Okay,
actual building.
got
Yes.
oh, so anybody can
you.
start an AA group.
Yes. They are
You
not
don't have to be
associated
certified or
with
anything.
You just got to find a space
only
for it.
special. Yes, you got to find a space. Only special, like, workers can be employed. Um, you got to reach out to them to get like books and stuff like that. But they gonna okay it.
So what is it about? And I'm sure there's multiple reasons, but why couldn't someone use their home?
Um, I would say that's too dangerous.
They don't
Personally,
want people.
I don't
Yeah.
think that
They don't
that
want.
would be smart. It
Yeah.
just you want it to be a safe place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Usually it's a church or something, right?
Yes, usually it's a
Yeah, usually
church,
church.
or some type of hall, center, something of that nature.
And
Yeah.
I know you can't repeat the stories, but have you ever heard something that make you be like, man, God damn, I'm glad I'm clean.
Mm-hmm.
You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Yeah.
There's been, and there's always, I think one of the reasons why I continue to do this is the newcomer, and you'll hear that.
And you've been there
The
before.
more you dive into it, the more you would hear that. But it's the truth to see. A couple of weeks ago, I had a young dude come in, and he was just real down on himself, man. He just kept talking about, man, only got 3 days, man, only got 3 days, and I pulled him to the
What
side.
was he addicted to? If you don't mind me asking.
Um,
Do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know.
That's not that's one of those things that they can tell you if you can ask, but
If they
we
say
don't.
it, then it's cool,
Yeah,
but don't
yeah,
it,
we don't really
it ain't
tend to.
kosher to ask.
Yeah, yeah, we don't
Okay.
tend to
Okay.
ask, but I just was like, bro, I got a year clean, but guess what? I had 3 days as well. You see that dude right here? That's my boy Mikey. He had 15 years. Like he had it 3 days too. We all had 3 days before. Like it's okay. You good.
Was he receptive of it? Like
Oh
what
yeah,
he like?
absolutely. Like he
Okay,
I appreciate you. I appreciate that.
that's
And
real.
I invited him to celebrate recovery. And he came not last week, but the week prior. He came to celebrate recovery. I wasn't there this week or last week, so I don't know. But he said he was gonna come, and he did.
With with
Sometimes that's all it takes is people to know that they at least have one person in that room that they can lean on.
that's a champion for them. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that being said, have you gotten to a point yet being a year clean where you sponsor somebody? Or like how does sponsorship work?
So
And
so
do you
for
have a sponsor?
yes, I have a sponsor. He gave me my coin on the 7th, well, the 9th of May. Um, I got my 1 year coin. Moms came, little sis, obviously the wife. Man, it was a special event, man. I told myself, all this crap that I was gonna get up there and say, and I text Rich and was like, bro, I went up there and cried like a whore, man. I did. Man, because that's one of those moments where it all just hits you and you realize like and I even said it while I was crying. I done been through so much, man. I fought the fight, and Celebrate Recovery is one of the first places I went even before NA. I was going there bullshitting around for many, many years, like still getting high, pretending that I'm not, and collecting coins and to finally get up there and really get this coin that I really deserve, man. It was crazy. And ever since then, bro, so many people keep walking up on me, man. Like, oh man, and then like a whole crowd of people, as I was walking down to go sit back down, came and hugged me. And I don't know you, man, but that was so encouraging, and it was just a great feeling, man.
That's fly.
I really needed that.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm,
Having been the person who faked it,
mhm.
I'm getting these coins and I know do you ever hear people talking and it's like he ain't there yet? He ain't
Yes.
he ain't really hit he's still in here bullshit.
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
another thing. Like
How does
I,
that work then? Like, is that
I,
somebody too, like you report to the side like the young boy, or you just let them figure that out for themselves?
yeah, you pretty much let
Okay.
them figure it out. But you can tell,
You could tell who in there bullshit and who
Um,
ain't.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the sponsoring goes, with Celebrate Recovery, you even in a you need a year clean. So I have that. I don't know about NA or AA, but I know for Celebrate Recovery, you have to take sponsorship classes. So I plan on taking some of those classes, and taking some classes to be a leader for the program as well, which eventually I hope to get to share my testimony, to get up there and let people hear my testimony, my story. Um, that's always my favorite part of any of the meetings anyway, is somebody's testimony, just so you can hear what they've been through, where they came from. Because again, you think you've done some shit, it's some people that, man, I'm talking about murder, all types of shit. You like,
And
damn.
that's the goal for you in the
Mhm.
program is to continue to work your way up and share your story and possibly one day like lead meetings, be a
If
mentor. Like what's the end like goal look like in that setup for you?
so, there is really no end goal in the sense of recovery, in the sense of like, you know, oh, I got 5 years now. I don't have to go. Like, I should attend meetings for the rest of my life. Maybe not
Mm,
as much, but I definitely, that's something that you because again, they say it in the book, like you can't cure it. You can't cure addiction. You can only arrest it. Um, And the way you keep it arrested is by working on it. Keep working on it, because I've seen people with 10, 16 years blow it, because they get too cocky. You get the feeling like, man, I got this, and that's one of those things too that Miss Kim, shout out to Miss Kim, taught me, is like, never ever feel like you're too good for this, or you got this, because that's not a thing in addiction. You don't ever got this, unfortunately. Like, it's a real thing. Like, all it takes is for me to get into a car accident and a doctor giving me my shit. You feel me? Like, and in an addict's mind, I'm good because that's the doctor. He wrote the prescription. Like, no, no.
So you're prepared for, this is the rest of my life. This ain't
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of a
fire.
perfect segue into what I was going to talk about next, which is, school. Every day when I pray for you, one of the things that I've added to that prayer was understanding.
Mhm.
I specifically pray to God for understanding for the things that you go through. Because it's not always what it seems, and it's a completely different battle, So sometimes the person that isn't going through it, I just want to better understand what he is going through, because that can get tricky. What has that been like, or how frustrating is that when you putting your all into every single day, and the people who haven't gone through it still might not fully understand what it is that you go through? Like, what does it look like for you on a daily, from a mental standpoint, just from a discipline standpoint, to make sure you complete that day sober?
Again, not to keep talking about it, but I mean, again, this program has saved my life. Realizing, in NACR, all of those, they say the serenity prayer, and that's one of those things that I've had to learn, is stop trying to control things that I can't control, and really accepting that. Like, again, kind of like in the sense that we talked about with forgiveness and asking for forgiveness. The forgiveness is for me, but I don't never go into it with, oh, he better forgive me. The early stages, yeah, I would. Like, I'm doing better, he better forgive me. Like, even with the wife, we struggled through that, where I'm like, why she ain't, I got 3 months clean, why she acting like that? And it's like, oh, what? Niggas, you crazy? So that's really been a great, I say the serenity prayer every day, like, because that's been my mindset, like, making sure that I stay in my lane, knowing what I can control and what I can't. If I decide, or if I reach out to you and tell you something and you don't believe it, I can't make you believe me. As much as I want you to, I can't. If you think I'm getting high again, that's on you. Like, all I can do is continue to do what I do to prove to you that I'm not, but I'm not going to go out of my way for that. I'm not going to chase you down. Like, look, bro, I'm at a meeting right now. Like, it is what it is. That's,
you got time to focus on that.
Yeah, I don't.
How has it been putting things back together with your family, like your wife? And I don't think anything really was, at least I didn't see anything with him. But I know your wife, I know that's something that you really, really, really wanted to work on and make sure you put some time and effort into.
Yes,
you talked about that frustration about, I'm working on it. I've got more time in than I've ever had, but I'm still not getting the praise. And obviously that's because there was a lot more time where you disappointed her and you lied to her about certain things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Getting to a point where, in the words of Sunshine Anderson, heard it all before. She's heard all that shit before. Everything that I'm coming here saying, she's heard it, So now it's time to put some action behind them words and really start, making shit shake. She didn't want me to come home when when I first got out, out of rehab, she didn't want me to come home. She was like, "You probably can go back to your mom's." I'm like, "What? Like, I'm 31 days clean. I can't come home." Like, I had to beg to come home. And then once I got here, I knew that would be work to stay on top of shit and to make sure she know like I'm really working. I'm at a meeting every day. I'm here. I'm there. Like, and bro, a year later, a lot has just, man, God is good and He's real, man. Like I can't say it enough. One of the biggest blessings that I received was, my daughter asking me to come to her school and help out. I last week I helped with with their field day and some other things, and like just to be a part of those things that that I would never even crossed my mind because I was getting so high. Like my wife got it. She'll be there. She got it. And my daughter can just, it lets me know my baby sees the change in me to even where she's like, "Will you come to my school? Like, will you come to my school and help me with
She
my
wouldn't have.
grades?"
She
Like,
wouldn't have asked you that before.
I don't think so
You don't think
because
so?
she never had before.
That leads me to an interesting question then.
Mhm.
Based off what we've been talking about last week,
Yeah.
Rich, like self-accountability.
Yeah.
If you were to grade yourself now,
Mhm.
you said your wife didn't want you back in the house because
Mhm.
she heard it all before, like Sunshine
Mhm.
Innocent. If you were to grade yourself now on how well you think you're doing being put back in where you wanted to be in your house around your
Mhm.
family, like if you were to grade that 1 to 10,
Mhm.
like how well do you think you're doing in fulfilling that role?
1 to 10. I would say I would say 8.
Okay,
Um,
that's good. That's good.
I definitely would say an 8, because a lot has happened, as far as this changes in grace and in things that I haven't seen since we, maybe our first or second year of our relationship, just really just vibing out, having those moments, giggling, like just you ever caught your chick just staring at you like I hadn't received that in a very long time, and I've even been getting that where I catch her staring me down. I'm like, I just can't look at you, like, and I know it's a moment of like I'm proud of this dude, like he really done did this shit.
Let, let me let you know how I know you're for real when you say
Mhm.
that. So I'm in sales,
Mhm.
and that's a tactic that you ask scale of 1 to 10, and you
Yeah.
ask people to think stuff, right?
Mhm.
So a 7 is I didn't even think about it at all. I just don't
Yeah.
want to be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want you to like I'm just answering your question.
Yeah.
I ain't even really assess it. 6 and under, 6 and under is I have an issue, but I don't want to address it.
Yeah.
Like of course, if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, anything like
Yeah.
that, you're gonna ask him the issue.
Yeah.
But the interesting part in you saying an 8, anything above a 7, 8, 9, 10, when somebody says that, they really think they're doing a good job.
Mhm.
However, they know that there's room for them to improve.
Oh,
So that's
absolutely.
why I wanted to see where you were at on that
Mhm.
scale, and I'm glad you said over 7 because
Yeah.
again, 7 means I ain't think about it at all.
Yeah.
That's the average answer for that question is 7
Yeah.
because people don't want to seem too cocky, but they don't want to be too low on themselves as well. Anytime you ask somebody that, or you doing if you tell somebody to grade themselves 1 through 10, pay attention to where they
Yeah.
grade themselves in that 6, 7, 8 range
Yeah.
because
Okay.
6 means down. 7 is I ain't even like consider
Yeah.
your question. But you said 8. That lets
Mhm.
me know you working and you know and you've seen the results of the work you've done.
Oh yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
good shit. Good shit.
Thank you. Thank you.
100%, man. Man, I'm I'm just so proud of where you are and everywhere, all the steps that you've taken, man. And we talked about it on chapter 2, kind of our journey with it, and trying to help you and understand while also dealing with the emotions that I had towards it.
Mhm.
And then being able to put that to the side and be like, all right, it is what it is. Where do you? I don't know. I guess if you were to look back at where you were May of 2024, what would you say to that version of yourself? Like the day the version of yourself that day one into a facility. I need to get this fixed. Not knowing what if you were going to be able to do it, knowing that you had tried before and was lying to other people, lying to yourself, knowing that you here over a year past that. Like, what would be the one thing you would say to encourage that younger version?
I don't know if anything needed to be said, bro. Like I knew I knew it was different. I knew I was tired, bro. Like, words can't express. Like,
Yeah,
it's a feeling. Like, you just know. Like, I don't ever want to go back to that again. That bottom was really bad for me. And I knew I needed that change, man. I probably would just say you got it. You on the right track, bro. Just keep going. Like, go on in there, get on in there. Your life's about to change for real. Because go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Kind of pivoting a little bit. What's the one thing you would say to people who would have someone? All right, well, let me. I want to make sure I word this correctly. How aware or how much of an impact is it being around, let's say alcohol, for example, right? You were never the biggest drinker, but you would drink. Are you aware of stuff like that? Are you conscious of stuff like that? Is it easier for you to decline an invite to a kickback or a barbecue because you know people are going to be drinking or smoking there? Or do you have enough self-control and tolerance to say, oh, I can still be around that? Are there guidelines? Because, I'm sure that comes with a little bit of pushback where, oh, here, I can't do this around this nigga because he around. Like, is that even a thing? Have you dealt with that at all?
I think there's stages to it.
Yeah.
I have April 11th was 3 years no alcohol for me. I ain't drank in 3 years. And I talked about it on, chapter 2 because I still wanted to do hardcore drugs. So I'm telling my wife it was the alcohol so I can still get high how I want to. So I'm like, I'm gonna stop drinking because that's the problem. Like, yeah, okay. But I just never, it never was my thing, and I just stayed on that journey. Like, fuck it, and then there came a point where, and I think I talked to you, Rich, where I was like, I think I still might want to smoke weed. And there are people
do you smoke? Do you smoke?
Okay. No.
So that's part of it too.
Yes, that's part of my 1 year.
You don't plan on getting back to?
No,
like, you ain't gonna smoke with it. Okay.
I smoked. I actually stopped smoking a week before I went to rehab. So, I think March 24th or April 24th is really like my 1 year of not smoking weed. Even then, like, bro, that was one of those.
So you substance free. I ain't taking a glass of wine. I'm not hitting the joint. I ain't popping no pills. Like, I ain't doing none of that.
Nah. Okay. And that's bro, that's crazy to me. Like, even with the weed, because I've talked to a few of my old guys and friends, and they like, bro, you don't even smoke no more. Like, if you know me, nigga.
That's the hardest for niggas to believe, right? And that's the hardest to do, because when you stop doing those things, even for me, I've cut back on smoking tremendously. Like, what I used to be to what I do now is like totally crazy. But
yeah,
it's like, it's boring.
Yeah,
and it's like it's boring, like, not doing those things when you're so used to doing those things.
Right.
How do you deal with that? Because that's one of the things for me. Like, I stopped drinking for a long time, and it was just boring.
Yeah.
Like I didn't find myself like being entertained or having fun when I went out. So I was like, bro, this shit ain't. And then I of course started back. But even with smoking, it's like I don't have to smoke as much as I used to.
Right.
But still, even when I don't, and I ain't smoke, like I can go now today because it's not a habit for me anymore. I stopped doing it for like 21 days, so it's not a habit. But even then, it's still like, that shit, boy, it's boring. Like the movie better when I hit this blunt. Like the food tastes better when I hit this blunt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you deal with stuff like that?
I think a lot of it is just acceptance. In the sense of like, if I really want this life that I claim that I want, this is what it looks like. And I can't smoke, I can't drink, I can't do those things, because when I do those things, this is what my life looks like. Yeah, this is what my life looks like. I'm not able to just smoke one blunt or drink one beer, or snort one line. That's what makes me an addict. Like, there's people out here that really just party on the weekend. Like, they've been partying on the weekend for 30 fucking years. Like, salute to them. But I'm not one of them. I'm
part of it. You party in there every day.
Yeah, I think shout out to my nigga Fresh, man. He used to always say to me, bro, when you learn how to do something, especially drugs, bro, you learn, bro. Like, and he said that to me years ago before I even knew that I was an addict. Like, I'm like, what? I took it as a compliment. Like, yeah, nigga, that's right. Like, but now thinking back on it, I'm like, damn, he was right. Bro, it's just one of those things that I know I can't do it. Again, I know I can't, smoke a blunt. And Richard tell me, we used to smoke weed, bro. He'd roll up one, I'll roll up one, and by the time he finished putting his out, I already was about to light another. You're like, damn, bro. Like, we can't get no higher. Like, I don't.
I'm just like that to like run back to back. Let's run.
Yep. Yep. So that's one of those things I've accepted. Like, I'm just, that's why I'm at.
You've accepted now. Ain't none of that for me. Like what's for me is pouring into recovery.
Yep.
Whether it be the meetings, whether it be me becoming a mentor, whether it be me taking classes.
Absolutely.
The thing for you now is pouring into recovery because you've seen where addiction can take you. Yes. And I ain't trying to go back there. If it's a blunt, if it's a beer, if it's a line, if it's a pill, I ain't doing a mushroom. I ain't doing none of that.
Can't do it. Because again, that's what makes me mad is the fact that I can't just do one line. It won't be just one line. It won't be one blunt. It's going to be, I might go missing for the weekend.
That's the most impressive. That's the most impressive part of your story for me, though.
Yeah.
Like, you knowing and understanding that, because some niggas ain't gonna, like, they don't. I can take a shot. I can take a little piece of a mushroom, and I'm just gonna trip a little bit. I can take one line. I can hit the blunt one time. Oh, it ain't a cigarette, it's a vape. I can hit that.
Yeah.
A lot of people never get to that place where they like, nah, bro, I can't do none of that. And I've accepted that, and that's how I'm living my life now. Like, I don't think that we have a lot of that in our community, in the sense of what people are real with themselves, like you being real with yourself right now. Like, most niggas will come on here and say, I can smoke a blunt. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, we see that a lot in NA and AA and even CR. Like, people will come in there and be like, I'm 2 months clean off of heroin, but I'm still gonna smoke. Like, and listen, I don't judge no fucking body. I'm not there to judge you. Hey, if that's how you got to do it, then more power to you. Heroin will kill you, weed won't. So if that's how you got to get off, then do what you got to do. Again, I'm not a preacher. I'm not going to preach to nobody. I ain't about to be the nigga in your ear talking about, that's you smoking that weed, and I ain't about to be that nigga either. Because who am I to judge anybody? Nigga, I was at a work meeting nodding the fuck off. All fentanyl, nigga. Who the fuck am I?
So let me ask you, because again, I kind of did this before. I stopped drinking for 4 years. Like I didn't touch alcohol, but I did get to the point was like, I'm older, I'm wiser.
Yeah.
I know how to handle myself better in situations where I drink alcohol now. So I'm gonna get back into it. Fuck it. Do you ever see yourself doing that with weed or any like leisurely drug, mushroom, something like that? I ain't saying you need a hard shit, but do you ever see yourself like, I'm gonna have me a glass of champagne, I'm gonna have me a shot or whatever it may be? What do you think for you? That's too like no, because I know what that road looked like.
I'll say no. And the reason why is because at my peak, I would roll up a blunt, either get some pills or I get some fentanyl, and I get a White Claw. Yes, a White Claw, nigga. One of them 219 cans.
White Claw is crazy.
White Claw is insane because I'm not really a drinker for real.
Really insane.
So I would get me a White Claw, maybe 2, and that's it. And I'm fucked. So I know that if I was to get a White Claw, all right, that might be cool for that moment. But then I'm gonna start itching for that blunt. Then I'm gonna smoke that. Then I'm gonna start itching for what I really want.
I see what you're saying.
It's all
so it's a build up for you.
Yes.
Like once I get that buzz from that White Claw, it's like, oh, I remember.
Yep.
So I remember what this feel like. So now don't let me. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
I'll cut in as someone who's the opposite in regards to the addiction. Like I'm one of the people at school just mentioned that can party on the weekend, right? I don't do all that, but I've never tried anything that just made me say, oh, I have to have this, right? Yeah. So I would link up with school, and I would, knowing that this is me, not even knowing he has an addiction. I know school fuck with the White Claw, so I'm bringing the White Claw over. I'm bringing, I got the bud over. We about to kick. We about to play the game. About to watch something. Got the White Claws, one for each. Because to a nigga like me, I can sit there having a White Claw or a few of them. That's just a regular. That's nothing to me, right? And that's one of the things that school taught me that really helped me understand things differently is the fact that it's not just what's just a White Claw to me is not just a White Claw to him. What's rolling a joint to me is not just rolling a joint to him. Yeah. It leads to those other things. Like, well, for me, and as he mentioned, the addictive personality, for me, hit the joint, maybe roll up another one. I'm good. All right, bro, I'm gonna holler at you. I'm going about my day. Ain't nothing there. Yep. For Isaiah, it's more so, all right, I need this. Now I need that. Now I need that. It's a constant buildup. And before you know it, you knee deep into the shit. Yeah. It's like, damn, like it's something I never even understand or could even fathom. Because a lot of that was being done when I wasn't around. Yep. You know what I mean? So we would do those sessions.
You understand it. You understand it, right?
I understand. Yeah, definitely. Especially now, like it's talking to him and things like that, because that's something I just never understood. But remember, I said earlier, one of the things I pray about is the understanding. I completely understand that now because not everybody has that thing. Not everybody has that same desire. And I'm like, oh, this is not. I can't look at him as. I can't look at Isaiah as all he got to do is be more serious about it. Like it doesn't work for him like that. Yeah. It's not the same. He has something that causes the addiction where I don't. Yeah. But we all got it, right? In different areas. Mine just might not be drugs. Yeah. Might be some other stuff. So that part of it's interesting. But going back to the being around people, so if you knew you was going to a cookout or something, there's gonna be alcohol, some weed there. Would you be hesitant to accept that invitation? Would you go? Would you separate yourself? What does that look like for you?
As of right now, I've been good. I haven't had any serious issues with any of that. But I think that if I was to ever feel like that, I have enough people that know what's going on that I can reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm not in that mindset today. Like it's been a rough week. I don't think I should be around it, you know.
And the core of the question, Isaiah, really comes down to, do you feel like you've sacrificed relationships? Because all of us have relationships that were built on something You know, maybe build on, hey, I go to the gym, I hoop with this person. I know this person because of hoop.
Yeah.
Right? That's my hooping nigga. Oh,
Yeah.
that's my nigga at the job. We smoke some after every shift. If he was working, me and him would sit in the car, we smoke some.
Yeah.
Or me, like, you know what I mean? And those might be surface, but you got somebody like me, which obviously our relationship transcends all that. So it was never an issue for you and I remember, and I've told this, I think on chapter 2, or you might have mentioned it, how before you actually became sober. So before the stint, maybe a couple years prior to that, or February 23, I think is when it happened. Yeah, that 2023 run, you were still inside the facility and saying, "Hey, bro, can you pick me up a quarter or something like that?" And I was like, "Nah, bro. Like I ain't like you mean way too much for me for that to ever be a thing."
Yeah.
But has there been people who you had years of relationship of, hey, our part of our friendship is drinking something, is smoking something, that maybe you like, damn, was that really a friendship? Do we still have that? Can I still be around this person? Like sacrificing relationships because of your addiction, and the way I worded it might sound crazy.
No.
But knowing that you can't have the same relationship with people that were your fucking dog because of that, is that something that you dealt with or had to really face?
No. And a lot of that, a lot of the reasons why is because fentanyl and Percocets, all that shit is, for one, is super. The pills are super expensive, so sharing is out of the question. Like if you didn't put in on this, you ain't getting in. So that definitely was a thing. And then I was too embarrassed. Like, you know, again, I didn't want people to know I was doing fentanyl. So I would rather just go get it and run home and do it by myself. Like I didn't want anyone to know. So I was cool.
That makes sense.
Coming home.
What about weed though? Because me and you smoke every time we linked. Now obviously we don't smoke, but we can still link. We can still go out and get food and all that and chill.
I think that's probably the only relationship was just like me and your smoking thing.
Do you look at Rich? Smoking. Do you look at Rich funny if he pull up and got one rolled up and hitting it?
No. Okay. No.
And I don't do that for the record, y'all. I'm very.
I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't.
Yeah, I know, but I want to make sure I say it from this perspective because that is something I'm aware of, and
everybody I know some people don't give a fuck. As considerate as you. Exactly. Some niggas smoke.
Stop me from doing my shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I don't. And I try, and I hope Rich know this, and I probably said it a couple times, like, bro, you good, like you can do, you ain't got to not be yourself. Like I know niggas smoke, like it's so crazy that like when I stay out the way, but when I hit the city limits, you can smell it. It's like once you hit a certain part of 75. I'm like, oh, we in the city because it be booming. Like,
do you find people acting that type of way? Like you said, you tell Rich, I mean, you can smoke, bro. It don't matter. Like, do you find people who you still have relationships with that are used to you being high, used to you doing these different things? Do you find that they're acting different? Like, like even with close associates like your wife and like do you think that people are acting different around you because of your recovery? You can say it sometimes.
I would say sometimes. Yeah, I would say sometimes. And I don't even think I think it's more out of concern, out of respect.
It's not disrespect to you.
Yeah.
It's more so respectful. It's more so like I fuck with this person so much, I'm going to alter what I do because I want them to succeed in their journey.
Yeah. Okay. Because when I first came home, you know, my wife was kind of iffy on drinking, like until I finally had to tell her, like, you good,
you cool,
you can.
I ain't gotta drink wine with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. So, do what you
that's
do.
Fire. I think that's one of the most fire parts about it. Like, having the wherewithal and being the person that you are, because some people like don't do that around me, and
I think
I think that's kind of weak.
And that,
I don't really respect that when people be like, "Oh, I'm recovering, so
Mhm.
let's go to this coffee shop instead of the bar." Like,
Yeah,
nah, bro, like that. I'm not recovering. I ain't
right.
going through that. And I know that may seem selfish as some person who hasn't went through what you went through, but at the same time, like I'm trying to treat you like you normal.
But see,
I
that goes back to what I was speaking on earlier. Things that are,
Mhm.
control what you can control, and some things you can't control. So you mean to tell me you're gonna try to stop a motherfucker from ever drinking around you again? Good fucking luck.
Right.
right.
You
And that
feel me? Like,
and I think that's a slip up that a lot of recovering people have.
mm-hmm,
Like, oh, I don't
mm-hmm,
do that. So I can't be around you because you do that. It's like, nah, bro. This I think the journey is more about your self-control than it is about being around people who do that.
yeah,
Not to be disrespectful of the situation. I
yeah.
get what you're going through. I promise you I do, but that still don't alter me like me liking to smoke weed. I'm still I'm gonna do that.
Another
And
another thing too that helped again was probably the fact that I am 35 going on 36, in the sense of, 15, 20 years ago, 16,
it
17,
would have been more
18,
of a problem then.
21. All I was doing was kicking it with my niggas and smoking and drinking. You know what I mean? So that's
So now you're a
harder.
man, you're a grown man. You saying like
Yeah, I got a
I ain't gotta
family.
do what
Like,
With
other
a
I
niggas
don't.
family,
doing.
yeah.
Yeah, like, but again, 12
But
years
I
ago,
think
it's even
a
harder.
lot of people are weak mindseted in the sense of when they going through that, the expectation of you changes. It's like,
Hmm.
nah, I didn't sign up to change. I'm not
Hmm.
going through rehab. I ain't that wasn't my thing. Like I still fuck with you. You're still my friend, but I'm still gonna do what
Yeah,
I do. And
yeah.
it ain't disrespectful for them to continue to do what they do. So
And all you ask for, in those senses, are for respect. But at the
okay.
same time, you got to know yourself well enough to know
What's
if you can
respect
be
look like?
around that person.
What's that look like?
Um, it's mostly respecting yourself. Like, if you know
Okay.
you can't
So that
be
ain't even got to
around,
do with the nigga that's
yeah,
smoking the blunt.
yeah,
It's more so to
yeah.
do with your respect for yourself.
Because one of the number one things in addiction is like, I'm selfish as fuck. So
Mhm.
any way that I can figure out how to do this drug and blame you, I'm gonna do it. Like, like, damn, what happened? My
That's
wife,
good
what
insight.
happened? I
That's
was
good
over
insight right
Rich house and he started smoking and shit. Fuck it. Like,
Right.
that's what would have happened 10 years ago. He passed it to me. Fuck it. He was smoking. Like, nigga, you know how you sound. Like,
that right there, even from the last episode, shows me the growth that you had in this.
yeah,
Like it shows me your perspective being different. I don't think you would have said that in the first time that
yeah,
we had you on.
yeah, for sure.
Now that I'm hearing you and you've been like looking to mentor people and you've been looking to move forward in the programs that you're in, listening to you say, "Oh, I was over Rich House," and like, and don't take this any kind of way. I feel like on the first episode, you would have been like, "Yeah, that's what was going on," so I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Now seeing you more mature in your journey,
Yeah,
it's like, nah, like Rich ain't got shit to do with it. It's
nothing.
on me.
It's on me.
So
I
I do
still,
want to I want to compliment you on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
you know what?
Mhm.
I never thought about that perspective of it in that to that degree, but I do that. I think because me and School's relationship is so different, like as far
Mhm.
as like literally since babies, like you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
So it's such a genuine love and brotherhood and friendship there, where there are people who I could, and this might sound real crazy, but there are people I'm sure that could tell me they are recovering, and I won't say I wouldn't think twice, but it wouldn't bother me as much to light up or something. If they put it
mhm,
like this, if they said they was cool with it, like go ahead and do your thing, I'll be like, all right,
mhm.
bet. And I go ahead and light up. I'm gonna trust that they do it
You
versus
ain't doing that with school.
nah, because that's just little. I'm not saying I wouldn't or it
Is
wouldn't
that
ever get to
because
that
he's
point.
family and you don't give a fuck about
That's a
those
little
other
bro.
people?
Like that's I take more and this could be unhealthy. And there's probably ways to unpack this. There's something that I hold I'm not saying I hold it responsible. Like, I'm not the reason why he does what he does or what he would do. I'm not the cause of any effects. Let's put it like that. I'm very aware of that. But there's something about knowing that I didn't do anything to potentially lead to it. I don't think that if I lit up a joint in front of school that is going to trigger him in a way to where he's looking for drugs. I honestly do not believe that. However, there is still something that I can carry saying that I did not do it, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about if that's an issue or not. Did I cause it or not? Because I didn't do it.
Right.
And that's just me in school. Like that says big bro shit. Like that's just kind of I'm not gonna do my dog like that.
Your little cousin.
Yeah. I'm 2 years older than him. And I've always been, and he'll like it's always been like that in a sense.
I think that's interesting though, Riz, because like in your friend group though, like let's take school out of it. In your friend group,
same way. And if my boy tells me that he's trying to stop smoking, I'm not gonna smoke around him. Like I'm not going to be, because put it like this, I have a friend like that, right? I have a friend like that who's saying, I haven't smoked in a couple of weeks, so I'm trying to chill out on smoking. I also know that if I pull out a joint and say you want to smoke, he's gonna say yeah. He's not at the point where school's gonna say no. Like, first of all, I wouldn't even offer it to him, but if I did, school like, nah, bro, I'm cool. I'm straight.
You don't think that's practice for them though? Like, because I'll give you my situation. Like, I've tried to slow down. Like, so even as I was out this weekend, I told you went to Magic City or whatever, I've been cutting back on like smoking. Like, so niggas was firing up.
Can I just out of curiosity?
Me and you talked about it. It's an off air like thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But I wouldn't expect niggas to be like, I'm not smoking because Lou not smoking though. Like I much more respect them being like, I know who you are as a man, and if you saying you ain't doing this, then don't do it. But I'm still gonna get to, we party like we party. Like we've been partying like this for 20 years. So I don't want anybody to change their tendencies because I'm doing a thing.
Yeah.
Remember Lost Ones? Jay-Z song Lost Ones. It's kind of like that, right? That third verse, right? My nephew died in the car I bought, so I'm under the belief it's partially my fault.
Right.
Like he didn't have anything to do with that accident, but since I bought the car that he crashed and died in, that's a little bit of something I carry, even though I know it has nothing to do with me.
I don't see it.
I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what
I think it's like more.
Go ahead.
I think it's more encouraging for your friend group to do the thing and you just hold it out. Like if I can convince you to do it, like like when I was out this weekend and like I'm a chimney. I blew it down. So when I tell a nigga, nah, I ain't hitting the blunt, it's like, what? I don't expect them to put it out.
Right.
But
and I even more so respect the fact that like, yeah, keep blowing it down. Like if you said you doing this, I know you as Spike Lee and you ain't doing this. So like this shouldn't bother you. It's never registering to me, and I ain't saying it's right or it's wrong because I think me and you think differently on this, Rich, and one of the few things we think differently on is like I'm not ever going to take into consideration because you're not doing this, I'm not doing this around you. Because I respect you enough as a person to be like, all right, that's my guy. He said he's not doing this, then he's not doing it. But if he asks for the blunt, and I'm gonna hand it to him. Because that's on you. It's not on me it's not on me to be like, I ain't gonna do this because you said you weren't doing it. No, I know you. I know you want to get down. Here go the blunt. Even though you said you wasn't hitting it.
I get that. And what you're saying is 100% right. And this is where, like I said, this could be 100% a me thing. I don't feel like I ever need to change. Like, so my friend, if he says he's not smoking and I say, I bet, and I continue to spark up, it's more so, hey, let's look at it like this. Let's say I wake up every morning at 5 a.m., right?
Yeah.
To go work out. And I have a friend that says, I want to do the same thing. I need to get back on my morning. Can you call me every morning at 5:15?
Okay.
Right? Because I know you have a goal, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it because I know this is something that you want to do.
What if you don't answer the first 2 days?
In a way, you're asking me for help. Oh, if you don't answer the first 2 days, then I'm going to be like, you bullshit.
It's over.
But
are you going to keep calling them though?
No, I'm going to have a conversation with him. Like, hey, you asked me to call you at this time. I called you the past 2 days. You aren't answering. You're not going to the gym. What's the point of me calling you? Like, what's good? Everything cool? Like, do we need to adjust the schedule or you just bullshit? Because if you just bullshit, then we can go back to I can just go back to my schedule. I'm good about that. Like,
So
you playing.
You wouldn't continue to call him, void the conversation because he asked you to do it originally. Like he asked you to do it. So like, I don't give a fuck if you didn't answer the phone Monday, Tuesday. I'm calling you Wednesday, even if I ain't talked to you. I'm calling you Thursday. I'm calling you Friday. I'm calling you all the days
until we
throughout
have
the
the
week.
conversation. After 2 days, we're having a talk. So I'll still call you on Wednesday morning, but I'm still gonna hit you up Wednesday afternoon. Like, hey, bro, let me holler at you. You asked for this. I just want to know what's going on because I don't want to badger anybody and I don't want to do too much. Maybe the calls are helping and I don't know it. I just want to make sure, are we still in alignment? But if I know that you're really serious about something and you don't have the self-discipline to get it done on your own, I'm not going to add to that. I take on that responsibility, and that's me acknowledging that's me taking it on.
Because
I'm not
they
expecting
wasted
him.
your time at that point.
Well, no, what I mean is, if my friend say he's trying to quit smoking, and I come over, and I know he's not in a place to where he's going to say no, then I feel like a better friend by not offering it to him. And yes, that's a lesson. Is it my responsibility? No. It's just something that I'm like, you know what? You said you got a goal. I do not want to feed into it because I know you're not at a point where you don't have the discipline to do so. I believe school has the discipline to say, I'm cool and I can do my thing. I get what you're saying, Spike, because it's actually more authentic when you can be yourself and do the things that you do with someone who's struggling through something. But I just don't look at it as my role to, hey, you say you don't want to, I'm trying to quit gambling. I bet let's hit this parlay. Let's go to the casino. Like, nigga, I'm not going to do that. Like, you just told me you don't want to quit gambling. Somebody else can do it. I'm not going to judge you, but I don't want to be the person to do that. I told the story when school got out. When school first went to rehab, before he really took it seriously, before he was even out, he hit me up. We talked on the phone. And he was in the facility talking about, hey, man, I need you to hit up such and such. Grab me a quarter. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like, you say you're trying to get better. Like, I'm not telling you at school, you can confirm this. I said, school, if you smoke, you smoke. You a grown man. I just personally am not going to be responsible for getting it to you. If I come over your crib and you smoking, I'm not about to sit there and give you a speech. Right. All right, nigga, you decided to smoke. I just not going to be the nigga providing.
Yep.
I think that's a great explanation. I think this is a pivotal moment in the podcast of book 2, because how I disagree with it in the sense of, and it may be selfish, and I may be looked at like, oh, you ain't shit. But when my homie tell me they not doing nothing, right? And they say this not something they participating in, and they know that this is something that I participate in, and I do that around them, and they say, okay, well, since you doing it, I'm gonna hop in. I ain't gonna be the nigga to be like, nah, bro, you said you didn't do it. I'm gonna be there like, okay, cool. I know you get down like this. Like that's just, I know that about you, regardless of what you just told me when I walked in the room and you said you wasn't trying to do it. I get it. I know it's hard to stop stuff. I know it's hard to make changes or transitions to other things. I'm not trying to be the police.
You look at yourself as you look at yourself.
It sounds like it's
challenge.
different from what you saying, Rich. Huh?
Well, let me say this,
and I want to hear School, because School had I want to hear it because he had a response with it by his facial expression. But I'm never going to be the friend that polices you. Like I don't care what you told me when you walked in the room. I know you. I've been knowing you for years. Me and you get down like you. Maybe
so when you say you know them, does that mean you don't believe them?
Nah, it's not that. But it ain't got. I don't think it has to do as much with not believing them as to I know what you're trying to do.
Listen,
like you trying to do this thing, but I'm here doing this and like
Spike.
Completely folded.
It's okay for you to say you don't believe them because I don't believe them either. Because
what you mean?
There's certain situations. Listen, if I tell you that I don't want to smoke and I don't want to drink and I don't want to do this, I ain't about to go to
smoke
the dispensary.
And I drink in front of you.
I don't go hang at the dispensary when I say I don't want to go smoke, nigga.
Right.
There's a point where you have to take responsibility. Like, maybe this ain't a good idea for me to kick it with Spike Luke, because I know when that nigga light up, he just passed that motherfucker. Like, it's a point where you as a man got to take that responsibility and know, like, man, I got to sit my ass down tonight. I do want to go see Side A tonight, but they about to be blowing it down, and I ain't strong enough. It's okay to say that, and that's one of those things too that, people, period. I don't want to just say men, but people, period. Like we're looked at as though it's wrong to say I'm weak. It's okay. Like, I was weak. You heard what Rich just said. Like, I was calling this nigga from the rehab, talking about, hey, bro, you think you can grab me a quarter? Like, come on, bro. Like, how that sound? Like, I told y'all when the first round, I wasn't about to quit smoking. Like, me and the wife got into it because I'm like, bro, I'm still smoking. I don't care. Like, so it just comes a point in your life where you just you got to take responsibility, and responsibility looks like doing the shit that you don't want to do. Like, you like that Mamba mentality, waking up at 4 a.m. because I can get 3 practices in. Fuck it.
I got it, and that's great stuff, School, because I got an example, and I don't even know if you remember this. You remember TJ Wedding?
Yep.
So this is one of those moments where School had already done a stint in rehab, but as he said, that wasn't the time he was taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of in and out, and me and him I didn't do a good job, and maybe he would say he didn't do a good job of where we talked about it to where we do now. Now we openly talk about how he's feeling in his recovery, right? Back then it was so new that it was kind of like, damn, like, all right. We was in the parking lot and we had the bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cincinnati's not far from Louisville and Bardstown, which is the Bourbon Trail.
Yep.
And
Cincinnati,
we had the bourbon.
And Kentucky?
Yeah, Cincinnati far from Louisville.
Yeah.
We about
really
hour and a half, hour 45 at the most.
Yeah.
Damn, and then School to hit that trip plenty of times.
For the UNC
back to back.
And the seafood.
There's a time me and School. I'm a big Carolina Tar Heels basketball fan. School knows exactly what story I'm about to tell. Nigga, we were in that car the whole 90 minutes, burning it down, bro.
Killing it.
Hot boxing. This is winter. Like, this is like January, so it's cold. We didn't have the windows down. Nigga, we got to the parking. It was one of them garage, not the garage, but one of them lots where you got to roll down the window to attendant. That nigga took like 3 steps back once that window went down. Oh shit! Like, we was on that.
Yeah, I did the drive.
Smelling like it.
Yeah, smelling like it. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I go back to the wedding because we in the parking lot. Got the bottle of bourbon. It's like 4 of us all together. And taste this like a bourbon tasting almost. Just taste this. And I remember School having a taste, and I was the only one probably that knew that School had going to rehab. But I didn't say nothing. I wasn't on no like, hey, School, stop it. So to your point, Spike, it's more so like I still respected him as a man who made his choices. For some reason, to me, it was like, I don't want to be the one passing you the bottle. I feel more responsibility. I don't know why I can't answer why that's the case, because it is contradictory, right? You can be there and see somebody doing that. But for me, mentally, that was his choice. Like, somebody offered it to him. He could have told them no. He didn't. All right, that's on him. I'm not going to say nothing to him. He's a grown man. Versus if I pass him the bottle, it feels like I'm encouraging him, knowing that he's going through something that he's trying to overcome. So that's kind of the difference for me. I can't really explain it past that.
Now, I did take that bourbon to the wife, and she finished it, by the way.
Yeah, it's all good. But it was just one of those things where I knew, and I was like, damn, like that was the first time I ever was like, damn, I thought School was trying to.
And sometimes
say nothing because I'm like, nah, that's a grown man.
And I'm glad you brought that situation up too, because sometimes it's awkward to be in positions like that, like where you really don't. Now, you know, I'd be like, nah, I'm cool, bro. Like, I don't get down like that, blah, 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 blah. But in that situation, it's like, you know, I don't want to say I don't have a relationship with him, but it's just one of those things where I felt included. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, he felt like he felt good enough about me to kind of include me in this. So I'm going over here and sit, you know, whatever. So yeah, that was just one of those moments. But yeah, for sure. Now I would probably even have a convo where I'm like, yeah, man, you know, I've been in recovery for a year. Like what? Like I like when I can do that, and the motherfucker be like, what? And I'm like, yeah,
Nigga, I
bro.
know it wasn't like
I was out here fooling. Like I
I'm,
get
I'm
enjoyment out of telling niggas my story. Like nigga, I was out here fooling, bro. Like you don't even know the half. Like
So, Rich, question: if you know the status of somebody like school, and someone is not as familiar with the situation,
mm-hmm.
do you step in and be like, nah, bro, he ain't on that?
Nah, no, because school
Or do you let
35
him be
years.
a grown man?
Just let him be a grown man, just like in that situation. I
Okay.
didn't say nothing.
Understood.
I let him do his thing. I did not say a word. I didn't look at him funny. I didn't even pull him to the side after and say, "Hey, bro, I thought you was trying to do better." It was what it was. That wasn't my.
Okay.
To your point, Spike, that wasn't my responsibility.
Got you.
It was
That's
more
what I
so,
was trying to understand. That's
it's the personal ownership of being directly.
Like it ain't got nothing to do with
point
me.
B.
And even if he do it, I'm not like, oh man, I thought you was this.
Me and school could be kicking it with the family. Bless you. Me and school be kicking it with the family, right? We could be kicking it with the family. Tons of cousins, right? We could all be there. I can be smoking something. I can look over the corner. School got whatever he got. I'm not about to sit there and run over like, what the fuck? Y'all ain't know? Man, get this out of here with school. Like, it's none of that. Like, bro, that's a decision he made.
On that.
It's the A to B. It's for something for me, like anything else in life. If I love you and I say fuck with you and you tell me something you want to do, take any substance out of it. Just take, like I said, going to the gym. I want to read more. If you ask me for help, I'm going to help you and tell you, hey, what have you been doing with the reading? What have you been doing this? Da, 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 da. I'm going to, because that's just the role that I play as your friend. I take that seriously. If somebody tells me, hey, bro, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm trying to stop this. I'm taking it from the friendship perspective of, okay, you told me as your friend, you didn't tell me this for me to pass you the joint.
Right.
You told me this to keep you accountable from not hitting the joint. And I know you well enough to know
to
say
tell
you're
you
yes.
this. Did I tell you this so you could prevent someone else from passing the joint?
But listen,
and I would never stop anybody else. If you listen, that's overstepping like a
school.
I would never do that.
I know. I seen your face. I know you got a lot to say about it, so I want to hear what you got.
No. I was just gonna say that's a part of the program as well. I think I talked about it the first time. Accountability partners, your sponsor, like, you know, it's known, you know, your first few months, you're gonna be weak. It's going to, especially depending on your age, where you live, what area, like all demographic, all that shit matters. You know what I'm saying? Because because if I live in the city, you know, in the city and you know, next to the hood, then the chances of me of getting offered weed it goes up tremendously compared to if I live in fucking, you know, I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Like a lot of that shit matters.
I don't want it to sound like I'm calling school every day, like, hey, did you say no to drugs today? Like, no, bro. Like, he's a grown man and I have faith in that. I just know that if he confides in me and I know his story more than the average person, then that's something I'm just more aware about. But I also know that if me and school go to a Bengals game and we tailgating, I'm gonna pull out the joint, and I'm not gonna think twice about is school gonna be okay. I know schools has enough self-discipline and just enough of a voice to, if it was a problem, he would say it. I'm not about to sit there in the car with him and light it up and just be blowing it down on his face. I don't want him coming home to his wife with those problems, having to explain himself like, I promise I ain't smoking. It was Rich. You know what I mean? And also, as I just mentioned, I know he's gonna do what he do. It's more so, hey, you told me you wanted to do this, and we talked about this, Spike. You told me you wanted to do this. I took it serious, and I'm helping you. And if you don't tell me, then this will never be discussed. If a nigga never tells me that, hey, I'm trying to stop smoking, then it won't even be an issue. I'm gonna leave it up to you. I'm gonna pass you the joint. You're gonna have to tell me you don't want to hit it. But I'm not going to do that if I know consciously you told me directly I don't want to do this anymore. That just feels like a little bit of bad friendship, in my opinion. But I'm not gonna stop him if he's doing it.
And again, I reiterate that, you know, that's it all boils down to you as a person, not either you two, but the friend being responsible enough to hold himself accountable and to say like, man, I know Spike gonna pass me this motherfucking joint. Like, I ain't about to go fucking with it. I ain't fucking with him tonight. Like, I ain't even got time for that. I'm trying to, whatever the outcome may be, even if it's, I'm trying to stop smoking for 30 days to pass this piss test so I can get this job. Like, put yourself in winning positions, nigga. Like, don't go out with Spike Lee. Like, it's just that simple. Like, and that's not a diss to you. Like, that's knowing that's knowing who you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know who you are. I know who Rich is. I know that if tomorrow I was to call this nigga and be like, hey, bro, you think you can give me an eighth? I know he gonna hang the fuck up. Like, nigga, what? Come on,
I'm gonna treat it like you got called. I'm gonna treat it like you called to tell me good night. Bang the phone on you, nigga. Shut up. Just get out of here. So, we gonna go ahead and get this wrapped up. Go ahead, Spike. I ain't want to cut you off.
No, I'm good.
We gonna go and get this wrapped up because we almost at 2 hours, man. We could go even longer just because of the conversation. I would love to actually maybe soon, and Spike, we could talk about this. I'd love to have more of a conversation on this because I think this is fascinating, the roles that friends play. And I think the biggest thing for me in this whole made up scenario is, for some reason, knowing that you have an addiction, like you're dealing with substance abuse versus just casually doing it. And I think that's the biggest thing, right? That's why I can be so cavalier about it, because the people that tell me, hey, I'm trying to stop smoking, that's very cavalier. That's very, like, they don't have an addiction, or at least something that I don't know about. So it's easier for me to just be like, all right, whatever, nigga. If I see you in the corner smoking with somebody else, then cool. Then I'll come over and pass you the joint, because obviously you was bullshit. And it's taken as lightly as saying, hey, I want to wake up early and go to the gym. Nigga, you bullshit. You don't want to do that. Whatever. Like, it doesn't seem as much cause and effect versus when you know somebody's going through an addiction. I don't know. Maybe I look at it more as the severity of it. I feel like this could spiral into something terrible if I lead into it, even though I know I have no control over it. It's very interesting. I will let a piggyback on that conversation, School, and maybe have it back on soon to discuss it.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was going to say, when I first started, again, I thought I would smoke weed again. Weed is a very slippery slope to me. Just simply because I've been in positions where I'm like, weed ain't addictive. I ain't really addicted to weed. But then there came a time where all I did was smoke weed and play the game. And if I didn't have weed, I didn't want to play the game. Like, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that routine. It's a mind thing more than anything. Like, I didn't, when I first came home, I don't know if I said this to you, Rich, or not, but I remember when I first came, like, I wasn't really eating. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna ever eat again, because I used to smoke to eat. Like, that's how I would, So I'm like, I ain't never gonna eat again. You see, I'm 60 pounds up. Shit, nigga, definitely eat.
You eating?
I want to know what games you was playing.
Yeah, what game was it?
Nigga said it like 3 times.
Oh shit. Shit, I don't even, probably 2K. Probably 2K.
Okay.
My nigga over here trying to get this question. Hey man, it's like you, my nigga, man. Listen.
Oh shit.
I think this has been another incredible chapter. Chapter 30, more things to build upon. It was a great check-in.
Thank you, School, for being so vulnerable.
Yes, thank you
for answering the questions. Like, there are a lot of things about what you're going through that we don't know in our community. And people need to hear this. They dismiss, not because they're going through the same thing, but they may dismiss people who are going through that.
Yeah.
And they look at it like, whatever, and they don't take into account how serious it is. So appreciate you for coming and dropping your perspective on it.
Yeah, I appreciate you both for having me. I said it, I believe, the last time I was here, like, Crackhead Johnny got a story, man. A lot of these guys have a story, they've been through a lot. We all have been, again, like I said, when I got my 1 year, I lost it, man. It just felt so good to finally, it felt like a weight off my shoulders, in the sense of, like, mama made it. Like, my mama was there, like my sister was there. Like, I can really, make them proud, in the sense of, like, I'm not poisoning myself no more. You know, that fentanyl is out here killing motherfuckers, bro. Killing motherfuckers. You know, and I couldn't imagine y'all, y'all burying me. That shit's crazy to me. You know?
We appreciate you, man. We're gonna have you back. Not always even for these topics, just to have you back, man. Just
for sure.
But love you, man.
Love
Proud
y'all,
of you.
man. Thank
Bookworms, subscribe, comment. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week with chapter 31 with Portia Renee, First Fridays. We'll see y'all then. Peace.
Peace.